Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. Yes, it has Saturday or ending of Saturday, and by the time you see this, it's probably going to be Sunday or Monday, wherever country you're from, or however that works. But it is after Saturday, and remember, I said that it's quite possible that we may have something on Saturday in terms of what Ray Fisher had posted on his Vero post, and having Zack Snyder liked it. He says Saturday equals celebration. And so you're looking at that, and I was looking at that, and if you got the tinfoil hat on, you're wondering what is that? What sort of announcement? Of course, we didn't get a really any type of announcement at all. Nothing like that. We didn't have any type of real big announcement. But since this is Saturday and I can make a video about anything, I'm going to pretty much do this on tinfoil hat basis. This is all tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists, speculation for people. Let's just have fun with this. Let's just cue the X-Files theme. I don't know if I can do that because that could be copyright, but cue the X-Files theme, cue the Twilight Zone theme, whatever you want. Let's just have some fun. All right, so tinfoil hat on today. Let's do it. I found it. My kid was playing with it. My kid actually wore it and ran around the room. All right. Here we go. We did not get a post or any announcement, but we did get posts. We did get some interesting posts that came on. The first one was actually Ray Fisher. He put down his a song that he was listening to, and he called it Only One. Only One. And that could have been for anything, but if you got this on like I do and you listen, which is a good song, it was actually a Kanye West is the Kanye West version of Paul McCartney song that it actually sounded really cool. I actually kind of bought the song because I didn't quite care for the Saturday celebration song, but for this one I actually bought it. So it was actually quite good, and it says Only One, and he had a little wording on the bottom, but pretty much in my mind it was like, okay, what does that mean? It sounds like if I were to apply that, and that's the thing, that's why it's all conspiracy theories and everything, we're applying that to the Snyder Cut. Okay, does that mean there is only one cut, only one director that can do this, only one version of it out there, or things like that? So that's what I wanted to apply. And then, nothing else happened today. I got to watch Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom. By the way, if you don't care for this video and you want to watch other videos that I do make other videos. One of them is out right now. By the time you see this, it's Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, the review. So anyway, but after that, nothing happened. But then when I came home after the movie, some stuff was starting to drop. First, DanielRPK, this might actually be after, but at DanielRPK on Twitter. He was that mysterious insider source guy who's been dropping a lot of different bombs. That came out true. He said this: there is a little bit of news about Superman, but I'm not going to be the one to reveal it. Yes! I can't wait to hear about Superman. We need a new Superman film. Come on, where is it? And a lot of things were going around by who's going to direct it and who's like this. We heard Christopher McQuarrie here and there, or that's just, fan wish, or Henry Cavill's wish or something, but we haven't seen anything. And then all of a sudden, Henry Cavill, now I'm not sure the timeline of when this was posted as opposed to when DanielRPK posted it, but, hear me out. Henry Cavill posted on Instagram. He said, behind the scenes on Justice League, stunt team magic, bringing Supes to life, John Williams and Hans Zimmer raising him to those lofty heights, and then there's me, who's channeling a little bit of Spider-Man with my hands. Henry Cavill. Now the refresh, and he goes hashtag Superman, hashtag Justice League, hashtag Spider-Hands. Now, the spider thing is in reference to the handle for the guy who is actually his own stuntman for doing that work. But he referenced in the video, you see him a never before seen, not even in the DVD or Blu-ray of behind the scenes of Justice League, of Henry Cavill flying, doing some test flights. Also, you know, coming in and then, you know, lifting his head. It's almost similar to him launching off a thing and ready to do that freeze breath. Remember that scene in Justice League of him flying, like a lot of flying, more flying than what we kind of saw in the actual Justice League movie in the theatrical cut, and also the dodging of Steppenwolf's punch, or we assume is Steppenwolf's punch, and dodging out of the fist and things like that and swerving around. So that was kind of cool. He wasn't smiling then though, and you're wondering, you're looking at that, and you're like, what right now? Why now? Why is he posting that now? Superman, Justice League. Well, if we're going to take DanielRPK's into consideration, is he posting that Superman is sequel is signed and he's signed on the dotted line, he's ready to go, contrast complete, there is going to be a Superman sequel, you know, we call it Man of Steel 2, but I'd just like to call it another Superman film with Henry Cavill, and he's ready to fly again. That is exciting, very, very exciting, because we really need another Superman movie with Henry Cavill. He's Superman now. He's back. He's the Superman that is very powerful, very confident in that type of respect. Sure, Superman, but he talked about hashtag Justice League, right? Hashtag Justice League. Okay. You know, maybe it could be nothing. It's probably because it's behind the scenes on Justice League. But I got the tinfoil hat on. Zack Snyder posted an hour later of a drone flying slowly towards his new office of Cruel and Unusual Films, and he says work continues. Now, I jokingly put out work continues on the Snyder Cut, ha 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 ha, you know. Of course I know it's his office, right? But work continues, flying slowly with the tinfoil hat on, and we're really in the deep end here. Does that mean he could be also working on Superman? Could he be the director of Man of Steel 2? That would be amazing. That would be amazing. I cannot fathom, I can't imagine, I mean, that's why I have this on. But can you imagine Zack Snyder coming back to do Man of Steel 2? He's totally teasing it. Is that why we're celebrating on Saturday? Now, we could also be celebrating the Snyder Cut. Don't get me wrong. You know, there's Justice League, hashtag Justice League, work continues. Work continues on what? The Snyder Cut. Celebration of Saturday by Ray Fisher. Ray Fisher says only one. There's only one Justice League. There's only one Superman. It's very interesting. But all that aside, I want to read you some posts by our very own friend, Lord Paulus Colbert. And he has been going on to my videos as of late. Thank you to those, and you know who you are, for pointing them out to me, as I am still going through a couple comments. And Lord Paulus, thank you for coming back. He does do some interesting posts here. And there was one where, when I was talking about how Aquaman may be the only movie this year, and he said this, well, I can add that Aquaman is not the only DC movie coming out this year. Also, Man of Steel 2 is going to announce soon, and I'm taking guesses about who is going to direct it. About the rest, just follow the crumbs. So, now remember, these comments that I'm reading to you now is before today's posts. Before today, okay? Next one says, Crunch Butt Steak asks, do you think the Snyder Cut will be announced soon? Lord Paulus says, yes, it's expected. Yes, as soon as everything is wrapped up. Scanline release is not so innocent as you might expect. David Odhiambo also asked, I'm assuming the J.L. Snyder Cut is the other movie coming out this year and shown in select theaters. Please tell me Snyder will be the one directing MOS 2. You are a wise man, Davey, says Lord Paulus. Remember this. And this is the image he posted of the Zack Snyder Cut, and the one right after is Found This Guy. So if you look into that consideration and you look at how Zack Snyder could be telling us below the surface level of understanding, Snyder Cut and Found This Guy. Paulus has been saying a long time before that he's doing Zack Snyder is going to be doing this Snyder Cut, and he's going to be the director for the new Man of Steel movie. Is that true? Is that true? Sorry, it's getting hot. I think the lamp hitting the thing was baking my head as I'm sweating here. But, you know, this is all rumors. This is all speculation, and we're just having a lot of fun with that. But, man, does that hype me up. That really does, in fact, just hype me up a lot. We did not get news this week, but it could be that it's not announced to us, but possibly on the inside, things are happening. Things are turning for the better for Zack Snyder fans, and for the fans who loved what the DC Extended Universe has done prior in terms of Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, maybe even Wonder Woman. Suicide Squad was tampered with, and Justice League, of course, was very much tampered with. And I want to, you know, go back to John, and I'm sorry, I did forget, but now I'm gonna I am getting better at this and trying to get all your names correctly. But you know, John Arryn Garza, who had posted today, and I'll put that link in the description of the color grading VFX comparison. He did a comparison job with the Justice League theatrical cut and the Scanline, and what's revealed is really seconds, even then, maybe even frames, cut from what we call the work that Scanline had versus the work that the theatrical cut. Because of the 2-hour mandate, they really cut everything possible to get it down to that level. The color grading is better in the Scanline VFX reel than the theatrical cut for the most part. And man, I'm like, release the Scanline cut, you know? It looks way better than what they had done in the theatrical cut. And you know, those little its and bits of moments, I would totally love to see it. Like I said, I am afraid that they're actually just going to release an extended cut version of it, but the color grading maybe seems that it could be a different thing altogether. And like Lord Paul said, with our tinfoil hat on, that the Scanline thing is a little bit of that. The Scanline reveal was on a Friday, and for a lot of people, maybe even in that country, was a Saturday. So this could all be leading up to something. I'm not, you know, I'm saying it could be quite something, and it could be quite exciting for the rest of us if something happens soon. I'm hoping something announces before San Diego Comic-Con, because I am really itching for some confirmations here, from some kind of clarification here. Are we just dreaming this stuff? And you know, I know they're going to get a lot of comments around, like Dr. Phil probably has another derangement syndrome. Are you a bot, by the way? Just wondering. You know, but it is kind of cool. It's kind of awesome. I see Stephen Colbert answering back. That's awesome. He's been doing some interesting too. Stephen Colbert from Screen Rant has been posting. I don't know if he's trolling us or whatever, but he did one post where he just said hashtag until it was. Hashtag until it was. He does things like that, and he did a dark side picture from before too, and we're all like wondering, what are you saying? Are you trolling us? And he did say something interesting. Of course, he was always for the Snyder Cut, and that's great. We always want that type of person especially in terms of media and bloggers to be on our side, and it is catching quite the attention now with the Snyder Cut, and I can't wait to see what more people can pick up on. And like I said before, making a lot of noise actually adds to the effect of people knowing about it. And, you know, even though we get a lot of negative attention, that's fine. Attention, we're always going to get negative attention for any type of attention. I'm going to try to read you this. Let's see. Okay, so Stephen Colbert, he's been replying to John, and they've been talking a lot, seems to me. It's really cool. He says, it's crazy how much more some of these scenes breathe. It's still hard to tell because it's still just a reel, but I can't wait until more stuff like this makes it into fan edits. Space, or, you know, the real deal. So, Steven, I don't know if you're watching this, but if you are, oh man, drop something. Drop something. What do you know? DanielRPK also dropped something that he said there is something that he cannot say, and there is something that he knows, but he cannot say right now. So I don't know if that's reference to anything. It could be anything from Marvel to DC and stuff. He drops a lot of DC stuff, so I'm willing to hope that it is in terms of DC, but if it's not, well, whatever. But I'm wondering what's happening, and if, you know, it seems like there's something going on. I'm just saying, there seems like there's something going on. I myself knows a little bit, but and if I can't say anything, or I refuse to say something, then doesn't that mean there's a lot more people out there that are refusing to say that, to say something about something? But I'm just going to talk about what I see posted and what my interpretation is of it. So I'm really, I mean, I want this to be good. Like, you think I want to post Zack Snyder stuff, Snyder Cut, all the time? I'm telling you, when the Snyder Cut comes out, I'm going to talk about the movie, yes, and then we're going to, you know, reference the movie, but that's it. You know, I mean, really, that's going to be that. And we'll can finally move on to, and we will, because there's more DC Extended Universe movies come out. But all the time you're seeing the Snyder, you're seeing stuff from the Snyder Cut, and some things that I've seen, and you're like, man, what is that movie like? What was it like? You know, it's like, what is that movie? Where can we see it? And what? It's like waiting for the Justice League movie again, you know? And I've said this before. And I know there's a lot of people doing fan edits and fan cuts, and I'm so happy for that, because it just you get to see better versions of that movie. I know it's not the official Snyder Cut. Nothing will beat the Snyder Cut, because that's the official one. But, you know, I still give props for people doing that. Like Chris Dawson, he put out now, it was a little scene, and now we know it's from Inception, of the building falling down. There's some fire pillar, and you see someone flying in, where it's his black suit edition of Justice League. He's actually going to change Superman from the red and blue to the black suit in that, and for incredibly, he's going to add scenes that are not even in the movie, using scenes from other movies and trying to match it up. And I think that's incredible. That is the most things anybody who's have done for a fan edit, you know, if what I'm thinking is what he's doing. But that's incredible, and that just shows the fandom, and that just shows how much the fandom really loves this stuff, really wants to see something better, really eager to see something better, and showing the support for the movie. I mean, we're Dr. Chris at Vinaldo 7, he has something more plans for next week, for more release of Snyder Cut you know, events that were coming down. As we know, we're gonna go into what's next one's Batman v Superman, so that will be coming up soon. He's gonna let me post soon details for that. But it's gonna keep going on, and we're gonna keep going on until San Diego Comic-Con, according to that. And, you know, I don't know if we're going to get anything at San Diego Comic-Con. I really don't. But if you put your, you know, tinfoil hat back on, then all these people are saying there will be. I don't know. I think Dave Film Junkies right. They want to concentrate on the future films, like you've said before, and I believe that too. But I believe that in passing they could probably say something about the Snyder Cut. And I read a lot of people didn't like what I was talking about, how I didn't know anything about the Dga Rules or the last video. I simply just stated that what's happening with the Donner cut, what Richard Donner had said about him not approving the movie, that's why he didn't want his name on it, would that start something? Because I've never heard of that. And so I don't know. I still don't know. So that was my question out to the world. But anyway, that was about Richard Donner. Paulus did answer me on that, and I will read that to you today. So Lord Paulus says, "Hello, Wom. I like the new hat style. Let's celebrate that." Sure. About the Snyder versus Joss Justice League, I can assure you Zach did not approve that version of the movie. He was credited because he had the most footage of the movie, even with the reshoots that Joss did on the movie. The principal photography is over 6 hours long. So in the end, unless the movie was all reshoot, the credits would always going to be Zack Snyder. I know this is very wicked and distorts this way of screwing, disturbing way of screwing Zack Snyder over, but that's the rules of the game. The good part is, by being credited as the director, he can redo his work again and call it the director's cut, or ultimate edition, or the Snyder cut. So short answer is no. I will be with limited internet access, and oh, I'm sorry, that's just him, internet access, he's doing something. But so what he puts on here is very interesting. So actually having Zack Snyder's name on the movie that he never saw could possibly work in his favor, in Zack Snyder's favor, because it's his film. This is what Paulus is suggesting. So in the one with Superman 2, where Richard Donner had said, no, I don't want to put my name on it, Superman 2 became Richard Lester's film. So it was harder for Richard Donner, to bring his cut out because it was no longer his film. But because Zack Snyder's name is on it, it's still technically his film, and then he can actually, like he said, redo the work again, director's cut, ultimate edition, or a Snyder cut. Now, some people have answered. I was asking on Twitter if anybody could clarify this, anybody can help me out on this, and some have said that there is a 90-day let me see if I can get it. There is a 90. Okay, so Brandon Valenza, he said, I believe he has a 90. I think you meant 90 days from release date to demand a director's cut. Warner Brothers must comply. However, this would only be a director's cut in edit form. Warner Brothers is not obligated to finish it or release it, but we know he already had a picture lock as well as much more additional work. Guido Scordo also says, I'm pretty sure there was a time limit on his ability to demand a director's cut, and it had already passed. Doesn't mean it won't happen, but he can't force the studio. So they both have pretty much, there's a time limit, and according to Brandon, it's 90 days. So that is interesting. 90 days from the release of would be December. So December, January, February. So that's it. So around February, if he wanted to make a new cut, he could. Unless he did. And we didn't know. I've heard rumblings that a decision was made several months ago. Maybe that was it. Maybe he did decide 90 days after Justice League. Who knows? Right? Just wondering, as I am. It is interesting. You know what? Hold on one second. I'm just going to grab my Vero right now. Hold on one second. All right. So, 90 days. Let's look on Vero real quick. Just want to see, because Zack Snyder's on Vero. What has he posted back? Let's say you said it was November or December, January, February, so that's about 90 days. Just wondering. And you know, this could mean nothing at all, but this is fun. Like I said, it's fun to think about it and see what type of things we can come up with. And if you're like me, want to have fun, and if you don't like this, I don't know why you're watching, but thank you for watching anyway. It's so cool that even though you hate it, you know, it's kind of funny that people are like, oh, I despise this, you're crazy, or stuff like that, but yet you're the obsessive one that watches. You know, it's almost like remember those boys in school who make fun of girls all the time, but they actually end up liking the girls or actually like them, but because they cannot express their love, they only can express teasing and hate. Maybe that's what's going on here. In that case, I love you too. Okay, so let's go to February. Seriously, Fiona is awesome. No, okay, wait, heading home. Okay, well, interesting enough. Interesting enough. 90 days from release. Let's go back to Justice League release. What was it? November 2017. If you're watching this, you're probably yelling at me right now. Justice League released November, well, that's the initial 15, 2017. Was that the release date? Now, did you guys know if it's the release date of the DVD or this? I'm thinking you probably mean the movie, right? You probably mean the Justice League film. So here we go. All right, November 17. Okay, November 17, December 17, January 17th, February 17th. Well, what did he post in February? What did Zack Snyder post in February? Now, it doesn't have to be 17th because he probably could have said something and then the decision was made afterwards. Guessing. But what was in February? That's in February. Snyder Cut. Very interesting. Very interesting. Found this guy. I just found that now. Just thinking about that now, right? 90 days from Justice League. If what you say, Brandon, and the other one had said too, and I'm gonna guess you guys did look up the Dga Rules on that. You know, let's do that now. Let's look at that. Dga Rules. Okay, here we go. All right, Dga Rules. How long is the video now? I think it's a long video, isn't it? Well, if you have time on a Sunday or whenever your day is, you can probably listen to this. I will try to cut it down for you because there's a lot of ums. But, you know, maybe not. I'm kind of tired at the same time. Additional photography. Nope. Spotting and dubbing, screening, motion picture rating, secondary markets, release of director's cut. The producer may not release a version of a film in the director's cut unless he has been identified by you. Okay, so no, that's just, I think I've talked about that one before, where the Warner Brothers cannot release a director's cut unless approved by the director, which is Zack Snyder. But I want to see if there's anything about the date. Previews of theatrical films, screenings, looping, additional photography, right to be present to consult through post-production. Oh, that's interesting. The producer must allow you to be present at all times to be consulted through the entire post-production period. Okay, so that is in, you know, all these, this is about if, only if, that you, if you're not fired, right? And you know, we had that whole thing about, oh yeah, he was fired and stuff like that, but then Jim Lee comes down and says he was not fired, so what's up with that? I can't see it. You know, I don't know where these guys get the 90 days from. If you could tell me, let me know, because I don't. Okay, preparing the director's cut. The director's right to prepare her director's cut is absolute. You must supervise the editing of the first cut. The first cut, allowing completion of the editor's assembly. You have the right to instruct the editor to make whatever changes you deem necessary in preparing the director's cut. Nope, that's not it. Okay, so that is not it. No 1 day improvements. You know, the producer must give you time to complete the director's cut as follows: 10 weeks or 1 day of editing for each 2 days of scheduled photography, whichever is longer. 10 weeks or 1 day of each editing for each 2 days of scheduled photography. Well, I can't calculate that, but 10 weeks. Let's do 10 weeks. 10 weeks. If my math is right. 10 weeks. 7 days a week. 70 days. But if there's 4 weeks. Dude. I look Chinese, but my math sucks. Sucks like I almost swore. I almost swore, but my niece is maybe watching, so I don't want to do that. 210 weeks. So if there is, what am I doing? Of course, 10 times, so that's 70 days, right? So that is still shorter. That is not 90 days from what they said, but when it says editing, 1 day of editing for each 2 days of scheduled photography. Well, how long was scheduled photography? Wasn't it quite long? Maybe we'll go into a little bit more of the assembly cut and the DGA. Maybe I'll have a whole reading session. Maybe we'll do, oh my God, maybe we'll do a live broadcast. I don't know, live podcast. Would you like that? By the way, would you like it if I do some kind of live podcast, maybe in the morning of some day? And then I'll look over your chats and read over your questions. We can discuss. You know, let's talk about it. You know, I think that'd be kind of cool. In addition to a nighttime thing, and we will start with once a week. You know, once a week. I'll figure out a designated day to do that. So, and a morning to do that because I pretty much own my own business, so I can do whatever. But let me know what do you think about that. You want to do one live broadcast, I've never done. I've done with other people, and I think I will be having a participate in a DC Films Hub as soon as we can nail down a date where I'm available for that. So be on the lookout for that, another podcast, and be on the lookout for more stuff going on. I don't know what's going to happen, but it is interesting times, and if we still have our tinfoil hat on, we can have lots and loads of fun just thinking about the possibilities. And I myself will hype, but please keep yours in check. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye.